Anyway, good to see you all. I guess I should get my cheat sheet here. So let's see. The only two guests we have are Aaron, who is going to become a member. Hi, Aaron. And I guess, Jen, we could still call you a guest, even though you're going to become a member also.
Thank you. And I do have to get off early. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We're glad you came.
Thank you.
And then our speaker, who is sort of a guest, is Wanda Hines. Jen, you and Debbie may know her. People who've been in Burlington for any length of time will know Wanda. Anyway, welcome. Sonia is going to give us a Rotary Minute. Sonia? You're muted, Sonia. Sonia, you're muted.
Okay, there.
There you
I have
go.
my grand dog lying on my feet, so I hope he's going to be quiet. But Philip and I were looking through the Rotary site last night, and he noticed that there was an address by Gordon McKinley. I think he's going to be our president next year, international president next year, starting in July. So he was trying to put together everything that has been done so far this year and continuing. He says it's a great year for Rotary, but he says we have to create hope in the world. And this is going to be the theme for 23-24, but creating hope. And he said that we do this by continuing all the great things we do. Talk to our members about creating great service projects, engaging with each other, look for any opportunity where we can help. And he says this all creates peace, humanitarian relief, as we have done in Ukraine. And he was amazed at the number of Ukrainians that have become Rotarians. And he says this is all because of what we have done there. He also said there's going to be virtual international exchanges. And I know Charlie and I think a former member Abbott did an international exchange with members in Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Scotland or England. And someday we should ask him how to do that. But it is self-paid for. There's no money for it, but you do get to meet and stay in homes with people in the other countries. But creating hope in the world is the greatest thing that Rotary can do. And I could go on, but it is supposed to be a minute, so that's it. And I think my pal here is beginning to cry too.
Thank you, Sonia. That was great. It's always good to be reminded of the amazing things that Rotary does, and that we're part of. So Barbara's going to give us an inspiration this morning. Good morning, Barb.
Good morning. I have two little gems. They're very small, very quick. One goes very well with what Rotary does. This is a quote from Booker T. Washington. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. And the second quote is also something that Rotary is very engaged in. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And that is a quote from Nelson Mandela.
Thank you, Barb. Words to live by. Thank you. Well, we have quite a crowd on Zoom today. Welcome, everybody. I don't have any business to,
I do. Can I?
I thought you might.
Yeah.
Debbie?
May I? Yeah, sorry I'm not there in person with Wanda there. Oh my gosh. I didn't know you were coming, Wanda. Hey there. I used to work for Wanda a long time ago. Wanda and I are good friends. But anyway, so wanted to make sure that everybody remembers that we are doing our Martin Luther King Day observance this coming Monday, the 16th. It's at 10:30 a.m. It will be on Zoom. And we have several speakers, particularly young people. We've really tried to reach out to young people of color to make remarks this year. And we also have a musical tribute by the professional Afro pop jazz singer Caribou. So that'll be really, really special. So please, we'll send out an email so that you can have the registration for the Zoom link. And it would be really great. Last year we didn't have that many Rotarians. And so it would be really wonderful if you could all come on Zoom 10:30 on Monday. Thank you.
And Debbie, I sent out in the email I sent out with today's link, I put your announcement. Just to be clear, the link that's at the end of the announcement, that's what we have to go on in order to register. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. For security purposes, we're asking people to register and then you'll be sent your own unique Zoom link.
Okay. All right. So 10:30 on Monday.
Yes.
If you're working, it's a good excuse to take a break. Yes, Andy, in a minute. I saw you. So Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. Please sign up and join in. Andy, do you have an announcement? Come on over here.
So everybody can hear me. So the fundraising committee had a meeting and we are interested in trying to resume the Chowder Challenge, which we think was run maybe by the police department in Williston.
Police
for a
and
number-
food shelf.
and food shelf. I really know nothing about it. So if anybody in town knows how it was run, whether it's a good ideas, please see a member of the fundraising committee, of which I am the chair. We think it was in September-ish, so we would start to want to get organized. So the plea is, if anybody has any information, no matter how small, please see me and
I do.
we'll bring it back to the club.
I'll speak to you about it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The last year that it was put on, the food shelf did it. So I can. Anything else? Any other announcements? Is that Susan on the picture? Susan, are you there? We just want to know how Rick is doing.
I am here, just was eating my breakfast. I do not know, but no news is supposedly good news. So
Oh,
they
boy.
were, yeah, even if he had cell service, which he may not have, he was advised to not
Use it.
contact family just to see what that's like. Because if he does do attempt Denali, he would have 3 weeks of zero contact with the outside world. So they think that people should practice that part of the experience.
How long is he gone for?
He'll be back in touch on Saturday and home on Sunday.
Great.
So it's been I last spoke to him last Saturday morning.
So can you tell people who might not have been here last week what Rick is doing?
He is doing what's called a Denali prep course, and it takes place on Mount Rainier. And he is learning the skills necessary to make a successful attempt on Denali, which he hopes to do in 2024.
Yeah, and there was something about crevasses, right?
Yeah, so they learn how to, care for themselves in every way. And then they also learn things like how to rescue someone who falls into a crevasse, or how to get rescued from a crevasse. So yeah, it sounds a little scary and a little exciting, but hopefully he's having a good experience.
It does sound scary. That's the crevasse part is the part I remembered from everything that you had said. So anyway, next week we'll check in, make sure he made it home. I hope he's taking a lot of pictures because we might want to sign him up as a speaker.
Yeah, that would be fun. I
Because
hope.
everybody'd like to hear.
Great.
Great. All right, Ted, give me a plate. And now Ted's going to introduce our speaker.
Oh.
Good morning, everybody. Our speaker today is Wanda Hines. Wanda is the, actually, I'm not quite sure, the director?
Director, I like
Director. We call her director and only that, at the Joint Urban Ministry Project. She was a speaker here, I believe 2 or 3 years ago. Was it 4?
Yes, before COVID, right?
That ain't
It's
right.
been a while, guys.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the reason I remember her so well is that her talk about the Joint Urban Ministry Project was so powerful and inspiring that I actually went through Debbie Ingram to make contact with Wanda, and I'm on its board of directors. The Joint Urban Ministry Project is a charitable organization that helps people by providing the necessities of life when they are facing homelessness, when they are facing poverty, when they are right on the edge, basically. And it fills in what a lot of public service governmental services don't do. As director, she supervises staff and does pretty much everything, and is one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. I would say, point of personal privilege here, that being the last of 8 kids, a lot of things happen when there are 8 chances for it to happen, and we've had homelessness in my family, and mental health issues in my family, and so I know firsthand through that and through my experience when I had a public defender contract and other legal experiences, that these challenges can happen to anyone, sometimes out of the blue, and that when you need the help, you need the help. So Wanda is somebody who aggressively translates love into action. So, ladies and gentlemen, Wanda Hines.
How long? 10, 15, but we have time now.
Okay, you've got
5, 10.
25 minutes.
Oh.
And then 10 minutes for questions.
Well, no, I need to leave here because I'm on the front line. I'll be working this morning, seeing our walk-in Thursdays, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But yeah, I'm a fast driver. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you for having me here today. Sally, especially glad to meet you, even though I do feel we have met before, but she's the operations manager at the Williston Food Shelf, and I've been following that over the years, and you've been doing an amazing job with the Williston Food Shelf over there. But it was a volunteer at Jump years ago when I was food shelf director from 95 to 2007. And I've just always been on the front line, and he had come to me, this volunteer, saying there was a need in Williston, and he asked me to help, set it up, what it would look like. And so Charlie Wolf. And so great job there. Great job. Okay. Yes, I'm the food chef, not the food chef, did that. Now I've been Jump's first full-time director. They hired me in 2013 to talk about their important work in the broader secular community, because Jump is supported by 28 supporting faith communities. And so when you say it takes a village, it takes our faith communities, it takes all of us. And big ideas can have small beginnings, because Jump was founded by, even though 5 downtown churches, it was a man, Nathan Johnson, who was homeless pretty much all the time, and he was a canner. And Nathan used to go through town picking up his nickel cans and tell stories to the merchants downtown. And he'd go in and out of jail every now and then, but he'd find his way back. He was a member of the United Methodist Church in Burlington. Well, when Charlie died in 1988, he left a directive, and he had left some money, $10,000. Those cans added up, and he had wanted that to go to individuals or an entity, not a big organization, but a group that could help people in need, to give them a hand up, to help them. And so the 5 downtown churches got together, they applied for that money, and they were awarded that $10,000, because at the same time, there was a big need in the greater Burlington area, or just say around that time, need. And they were awarded it, and they added their 6,000 with with Nathan's 10. And that's how Jump started. Big ideas can have small beginnings. When I was hired as director, I just would love to see our clients come in who are down in they come in And I would tell them that story, big ideas can have small beginnings, and hey, happy canning today. You don't know where you're going to end up at. You don't know what feat. And sadly, I have a sister that's homeless right now as well. And I'm especially saddened about it. And there's just different degrees when people are down on their luck, but I think that the silver lining to that is we need to look within ourselves and see how we can share our own richness with them, because I do believe that the clients or the participants that we help are rich in so many ways, and there are other ways. And some of those stories I'll resort back to Debbie as food shelf director, seeing grown men come in. You can see they just tuck their tie off in their white shirt and that they're educated, but they're not educated fools. You need to take care of your families. You need to do what is necessary. Myself, I used to be a client at the food shelf and then hired as director. It gave me great joy after being there a few months to have the money to go in and pull out my own file. And I worked there for 12 years. But it was a tragedy. Sometimes tragedies unfold. Sometimes people do lose their way, but it's important that they find their way back, or that we have the resources to lift them up. And I think that being appointed at Jump's first full-time director has really allowed me to see it through different lenses. I think about the different committees on the churches, missions, and I get to go to different churches and they all want to recruit me. I don't belong to any of them, but I believe that we all do have a greater calling, a purpose, that we just want to go out there. We want to do good. We want to be present. And these last 3 years were difficult. I think that not just for participants or clients, I think you need to applaud yourselves that we all made it through it, and you're right. It's great to be seen again, right? It's great to be here. The last time I saw you all was 4 years ago, many of you. And so that's just one of the great joys. And often lately, I've been speaking at churches. The first thing I like to say is, if I could just be present, and voila, here we are. I think many of us, we continued to work behind the scenes. Many of us became very efficient with modern technology, picked up skill sets that we, added to the gift of our own, the list of our own talents and such, especially at the onset of the COVID and the pandemic. I mean, these devices, who knew that we would become so gifted in working them? And it has a silver lining there. I think that the COVID asked us to really take the time and ponder within ourselves who we are, what's important. I know that it was a great time of reflection for me, and I appreciated it. But it was also a time where I'm pretty sure, like our clients and ourselves, the feeling of being alienated and not having that interaction, not being able to. Sometimes we think about, Sally and I were just mentioning about, there's the tangible, the handling, the giving of something, but sometimes you can feel, it's also about feeling the need, to being able to feel that need and go and tell that story. And so today I get to do walk-in Thursdays from 9 to noon. A year and a half ago, like many places, when COVID took place, we closed, but we were able to pivot to online services where you can go online. There's a link, there's accountability. You need to present your POR, your proof of residency and such. And there's a menu where you can get items mailed to you. But for the first 2 months, we were unable to assist unhoused populations. And that just really bothered me, You mean because they would call, because I don't have a residential address, you can't help me. And so we thought about it. And it was about networking and working together. And we reached out even more firmly with COTS and other homeless agencies. And what we did was we had the workers there facilitate that partnership, facilitate that need, and they would have the vouchers sent to them. And then when they saw the unhoused populations, I thought it had a silver lining because it caused them to come in out of the cold to get the need that maybe they didn't see or know that was there. And so we worked with over 30 partners during that time. And then as the COVID kind of lifted or got lessened, we did open for walk-in Thursdays. I like saying walk-in Thursdays because I'm gonna say one time I was at a liquor store on a Thursday, I was wondering, like, what are all these college students doing here? And I said to, why is it so busy? Is there a party up at UVM or something? And they're like, no, it's Thirsty Thursday. I said, oh, okay, Thirsty Thursday. And so whenever I like to say walk-in Thursday, I think about that Thirsty Thursday in that day. But anyway, walk-in Thursdays from 9 to noon, you can come to Jump if you're unhoused. And that's the population. We're seeing about 20. And of those 20, I would probably say 18 are homeless. Yesterday, I went in early because I knew I'd be coming in fast today and prepped everything. And what we're giving out there is, I like to say the bivy bags, these emergency bags. This is something that was, and if you could pass a few of them out at each table, this is an emergency sleeping bag. And what it is very compact, very lightweight, usable. It's got the whistle on it. And people are couch surfing. I was at my office there yesterday. We're not open walk-in Thursdays, but a man came by, gentleman, he's homeless. And he couldn't get into one of the shelters. And so he slept outside. And so he's looking for something to warm his hands. And so on walk-in Thursdays, what we do, if you're homeless and it's evident without a roof, not in transitional housing, because I consider being homeless in transitional housing homeless, but for those that are sleeping in their cars, we've been giving these out. And these are bivy bags. They open up to a full-size sleeping bag, and they can take these sleeping bags and they can use them for a blanket. They can sleep inside of them for people sleeping under, well, let's say in cars, bridges, wherever they are. And it's a great project because they are affordable. I'm going to just put this out here because as we came back from COVID, our churches now are starting to organize their committees. What can we do? How can we contribute? So for $20, you can get 4 of these, okay? That's something that you know that's going to go, and it's strictly for homeless people. And it's something that you might want to give out at the Williston, go to Amazon online, $20. And if anybody got an account, it's free shipping, Amazon. They're called bivy bags. Yeah, bring this paper with you. Yeah. And I think that this is what's happening on the front line right now, okay? It's not just a sleeping bag, it's a blanket. People are couch surfing. Maybe you don't have a blanket, and the gentleman last week, he was homeless, he came to the door. And I love that he had on his big GMT flash thing. GMT gives them so people don't get hit. There's a stop sign. And I love that. And he flashed it. And then as soon as I gave him this, my heart, he pinned it right to the other side, and he was just ready to go. And so if you want something you can do now, I'm really pushing these bivy bags, okay? Get those bivy bags. And so working on the front line right now, Jump, I mentioned before, is founded in 1988. Today we have 28 supporting communities. We finished up this year just barely serving 2,400 households, okay? We feel good about that. But the thing about it is if you can just be consistent, we don't have the impact being food shelf director for 12 years. Yeah, I can run, 100 people through the door, for direct service, give them, a 40-pound box of food, or we can provide you a hot meal and serve 80 of them per day being food shelf directors. But I think that Jump has it seems like a more emotional, deep connection. I don't, maybe it's the churches. I get emotional with churches. And, and people having purpose and passion about the work that we do. And as we're back, you can see that it's still there. But COVID also challenged us to look at the way we do business. This is one of the first meetings I've been to where not everybody's wearing a mask. Nobody's wearing a mask. We're starting to reemerge and to look at the way we do business. How can we be better? How can we have a better impact? And who is falling through the cracks? There are still many families and individuals that are falling through the crack. And the thing I caution most is do not judge. Do not judge. I've seen some people do some stuff or assume some stuff, and my heart just hurts. I don't know if the experts, they know not what they do, but sometimes we lose our way, but it's important we find our way back. And I think what's important is that we be present when they do. And what can we do? What we can't do is judge. And one thing I do want to say on the front line, though, is we don't have that open door, though. I got to admit, I'm still a little easing back in there. We're accessible. But somebody comes, they ring the doorbell, and I got to admit, I go, can I help you? Do you have an ID? How'd you hear about us? And I get, and I pull it on. I think that, let's not judge, but let's be honest. That we need to be safe in the work that we do. And I think that COVID, we've had a lot of time to reflect, but what I'm able to observe is our personal social interaction skills for some people who are living on the edge are quick to flare. It's just what it is. And we're there, we're seeing clients, and it's better to get a read. And what we do at Jump now because of COVID is now we have the iPad is you have to have an ID. That's your POR or your ID or a state ID is what it is. And so I feel better once we get that ID. And what we do now is we photograph that ID and it's in the iPad and we pull it up and we know who you are. So if you're going to jump off, pop off, or just or having a bad time, at least we can some measure kind of follow up because we know where you are, who you are and such. And I think that would be the only side right now for me. I'm going to be honest, the scary side of it. I think that we really need to, as good-hearted as we are, be careful. But it doesn't mean we should go away. And I'm looking forward to hopefully Jump can be open a second day or Jump could be open longer. But we're all in this together, all of us. And I think that every piece that we do is important. And we all want to do something. We all want to contribute. And the saddest part is we had over 60 volunteers before COVID. And now we have 30. We were able to, out of that, come up with also a quarterly care call program for individuals who are disabled, elderly, or who didn't have the means to access services, where those volunteers, because our volunteers at our churches, they got purpose. I tell you, there ain't nothing like a volunteer showing up to work and somebody else is doing that volunteer's work. And they come in there and go, they took my job. And you got to say, it's not a job. You're just, or one holiday season at the food shop, I had to send 2 volunteers home. They were out back just, I said, listen, but she's gonna take my job. It's not a job. It's, and it runs deep. That's that passion. That's that caring. And with our church committees, our volunteers, you can see that, it was taken away from them, but we were able to pivot to the quarterly care call. So now each volunteer that's on board with that program, about 25 on that one, they got a case of, they call every 3 months and they get to check in and they get to have those conversations. And those clients look forward to those conversations because even though Jump serves people every 3 months, they would come there looking for that specific volunteer. So we were able to maintain that link. These clients are looking for that phone call. The volunteers are looking to show up to make that phone call. And this, like I said, there's something about purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have a reason for the stuff that we do. But the thing I think that we need to say is if we can just be present in our lives and what it is that we do and look at the bigger picture, and maybe the bigger picture is your bigger heart that you have. I don't know. I love the work that I do. I can't imagine not helping somebody. I don't see that Wanda anywhere. Somebody hurts. I've always been the kind of person growing up, if my neighbor hurts, I hurt. If somebody's in pain, I feel that pain. And being there on that front line, you can look at it and somebody might be acting out, but you can see. I've had some confrontations and just sat there and like, tell me more. Or let them just get it out, but nowadays I'm a little like, could you get it out over there? But they're getting it out and, and you move through it. And so right now, I think that we are still in this place where we haven't totally settled. We're coming out and such. But one thing I can say about Jump, we've been a reliable, dependable resource for over 30, 40 years now. And they named me as their first full-time director, not to go out and preach, but to let people know in the secular, broader community about the important work that Jump's doing. And I love it. And this year I'm making a pledge. I'm not going out there with a script. Now, before I am going to let you ask questions, but before I pivot into that, I'm going to give you one ask, one challenge. At the end of the year, volunteer from Faith United Methodist Church, Diane Chamberlain. She can bake. Oh boy, she can bake. And she got the holiday appeal and she wanted to do something to lift, lift people up. And I told her about walk-in Thursdays, and she wanted to make some treats. She made these beautiful separate treats, every kind you could think of. And then she gave me, goes, and I got these cards too. And I was like, oh, somebody else gave me a handful of Christmas cards. And so but later on I discovered it had 7 gift cards in it from Amazon, and I don't know if Pizza Hut, just different places. And I was like, okay, this is good. And I was thinking, how could I best utilize these? Well, I thought about Jump is having the Show Love for Jump auction from February 1st to February 10. And I'm thinking, what could I ask today? How could you help and contribute in a way that's not overly bearing? Is donate a gift card. But deeper still, challenge this. How many of you somewhere in your house has a gift card or two that's just sitting there collecting dust? And you're going, oh, yeah, I'm going to get there one day. Or you re-gift them to somebody. So I ask you, if you've got a gift card or two sitting home, give them to Sally, you too, and get them to Jump before February 10th, okay? If you got that gift card, said, I couldn't believe how many gift cards. I was like, I want to call Diane. Do you know somebody? Yeah. And then I thought about how many gift cards I got sitting around. So next time you're doing an event, I'll give you a pass. You can claim this after, but for now, try it out with the Show Love for Jump. And then after that, if you have an event coming up or something, see who's got those gift cards laying around. Isn't that weird? Yeah, see, that's what I do. I sit around and I think up stuff. I thought this one up for you guys just yesterday. Okay, good.
So a comment and a question.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So the comment is a lot of people are nervous about volunteering in a situation where there are homeless,
Yep.
mentally ill people.
Yes, there it is.
First of all, if you volunteer in an organization that's been doing it for a while, you're covered. You learn how to work with the people that come through the door. And one of the things I tell our volunteers, and it's so true, is that at least half of the good things we do for people
Yes.
is we listen to their story.
Yes, that's what, yes.
Everybody's got a story.
They got a story.
And there's
they want-
nothing like understanding
Mhm.
that these are people just like you and me,
Right.
who are in an unfortunate place.
Yes, they are.
So working in a place like Jump or a food shelf gets you closer to the people with the issues, but you're doing a great deal just by being there.
Yes.
So the question is, do you serve people outside of Burlington?
We serve all of Chittenden County.
Okay, because I have people that walk in and they want a gas card.
Yeah.
And all we can do is tell them to call 211.
Okay, and that's another thing, and you're going to hear it. I sent it to all our community partners. Is Jump will be discontinuing. We discontinued the gas cards in 2023. Catherine knows the board. I have the content narrative for you guys at the board meeting. Sorry, you had to hear it here, Ted. But yeah, we're going to discontinue that. So we don't have them available. And I always say the buses are free. The buses are free until July 1st. But yeah, we're going to discontinue, and I won't discuss it here on camera, but yes. Okay. Yes.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Any questions? Or is there something you want me to cover, Ted? I'm just going on.
One of the incredible things that Jump does is provide people with the resources
Yes.
when they're homeless or when they're right on the edge that they need to get away from the edge that they don't have. And by way of example, one time we talked about people needing to do laundry. And
Yes.
I wonder if you can cover that.
Yes, we have well, just imagine not having a washing machine or a dryer or a way to do your laundry. We give out laundry vouchers for you to be able to do your laundry, a wash and a dry. You get that online. Utility assistance, we want to keep people in their homes, the utilities could get disconnected. And as a fundraising thing for other churches, one church helps subsidize that, because traditionally we bill our budget on $35 per household. But the First United Methodist Church, they sell their clothes and they send in $15 extra. So we do an average of $50 on your utility bill if you need that done right there. I like to go with the utility assistance, because if you get your utilities disconnected, you will have bad credit. Okay. And that's not going to help you move on or move you into a better place. The laundry is important, you know, personal hygiene, being clean. We give out a personal care bags also. That's another thing I was doing yesterday when I was there. I got all the personal care bags there ready. Plus, for Walk-In Thursday, you get a $35,000, I wish, a $35 Hannaford card where you can buy food and basic essential goods, because you can get non-food items. Let's say you got a boo-boo, you need some Band-Aids or women's personal products, you can get that. Plus, we give out $30 in thrift store vouchers, which means you can get clothes, pots and pans, any basic essential needs at 2 thrift stores, each for $15. There's no time limit on them. And we give out the laundry card. So if you're homeless, unhoused, which is what mainly that population, another thing we started giving out inside of the personal care bags are socks, toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, soap, razors, socks, bottled water, and a snack, and foot powder. And so we've got a sock church now. We've got 2 sock churches, 2 bivy bag churches. We got toilet paper back on the menu now too. See, that was the thing. We have, what church were you? What did your church give out? Yeah, forget we're not in church, we're in the Rotary. This church right here collects for us. I think this church did dish detergent, or would you?
Well, we've done hygiene products.
Yeah.
I think we did.
Yeah, and so now we're able to give those things out, those basic essential goods that you need. And again, it's about being consistent, about being accessible, about being present. And when COVID happened, it cut that off. And so we pivoted to online. Now, little did anybody know I was a computer science major in college in 1976. I designed the whole thing. And my son, he just graduated from college in 2020. He went in computer science. He was annoyed at me that I never told him, you're a computer science major, you didn't tell me, Mom. I go, I don't flip my mind. I wasn't thinking about it. But I think computers in these platforms are like chess or backgammon. That's all. You just have to figure it out. And so we were successful, and we're still there giving, you know, these personal care items, cleaning supplies. We've moved away from cleaning supplies, but then again, we're backing our way into it. Not backing away. We're coming out. We're, you know, being accessible in the ways that we were. And again, some people don't want to come back. Even we did do a survey with our volunteers. Some of them, half of them don't want to come back because they're afraid of the contact, the behavior. And so what do you do in an open environment? Half of the staff are used to it. And so you're okay. Yeah. And so for us, it's more about everybody, not just of course you want your clients safe, but I think it's important that our staff and volunteers are safe as well. And so we're looking at that, and we'll be doing a retreat soon to examine it more. But right now, I mean, we served more families this year than we did last year. That says we're doing our job. But we're focusing on the unhoused population right now. And it's interesting, that population, it is not just locally. I mean, and getting back to Chittenden County, we serve Chittenden County, but for Walk-In Thursday, you can come from anywhere and we're not going to turn you away. You just can't get your voucher assistance mailed to you outside of Chittenden County. Yeah. Questions?
Sometimes people don't know what to ask
Yeah.
because we don't know the environment.
Yeah.
So it's I'm curious to know what you do when someone presents who's having a mental illness crisis.
We have the street workers outreach program
Yeah.
that we call them in
Yeah.
Burlington that we'll call.
Yeah, we have the phone number for community outreach people on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marty.
Or how do you think the pandemic has impacted the people you work with?
The people I mean, as far as catching it, are their will to want to volunteer.
No, not the volunteers. The
Clients?
Clients.
I think our clients, the clients they were locked in like everybody else. It's the unhoused ones that bother me. They just, sometimes in life, you just got to move right through it. And I don't see them really being impacted. I shouldn't say that. I think about when a crisis happens to you, sometimes you just got to move right through it. And our important role was just to be there when they, and so I would say it impact, I don't know. I can't speak for that. I will,
Well, I can tell you about. the
yeah, why
food
don't you,
show.
yeah,
For probably the first year of the pandemic, we saw fewer customers.
yeah,
And the reason was that they were getting the benefits from the government. They
Yeah.
were either getting greater unemployment benefits
it's point.
or they were getting the checks that came.
Mhm.
That was at least a year and a half, and it caught us off guard because we were prepared for more need. And there seemed to be less.
Yeah.
Now that the pandemic's over,
Oh,
presumably,
okay.
let's hope. And there's no more benefit going out. There's no more special payments going out.
Yeah, they're
There are
back.
lots of job openings so people can get jobs. Now what's happening is the cost of living is so high. And the job market is not paying huge amounts. We're seeing an increase. We're getting more and more people coming in.
Yeah,
And many of them are working 2 or 3 jobs.
the working poor.
We have
Yeah.
nurses, teachers, professionals coming to us for food. And and particularly right now, because it's time for heating.
Yes,
And they're now adding the cost of heating fuels, whatever they use, to an already pressured
Mhm.
budget. And so we're seeing a lot more people in the food shelf now. Yep.
I know that the bivy bags are for people that are out on the streets, but I was thinking that for people that are in their houses and they're cold because they're not cranking up the heat
Yeah.
because they can't afford it,
Mhm.
you know, the bivy bags might be nice when you're.
Yeah, like that, this is something you might
I'm
want
gonna put it on the food shelf.
yeah, have a comment, yeah,
Agenda.
yeah, I think it's a perfect thing, easy, I mean, doesn't take a lot of storage, but, and it's got that whistle on it, the guy really like the whistle on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you,
Thank you, Wanda.
Because,
It's been
there's
wonderful
some
having
people
you
out there in
here.
the cold, waiting for, now, he took a picture of us, but I wanted us to picture standing together behind your thingy here.
Oh, there you go.
And if you could also, how about, could you take a picture and we'll have him in it with us, if you don't mind? Yeah, you're on my board, come on. Take one. Come on, come on, well, yeah, if we could. Oh, guys, you got the flap on it, honey.
You got the lens cap on back in the day.
Right.
Gonna be tripping.
Careful. hurt
Okay,
yourself.
okay. Geez, take a couple. Geez, geez.
Bivy bags.
Baby bags.
Susan, I got a picture for you.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, technology.
Oh.
There you go. The white button. There you go. Couple. Okay, we're all bivvied out on that one right
Great.
there.
All right.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and keep
Wanda, I
doing
bet-
what you're doing, and look at that catch-all drawer and see what you're doing with those gift cards and. Yeah, yeah. Sure. Oh, that's right, yes.
Pick out a raffle ticket and read the last 3 digits. And don't lose your glasses because they're small.
Everybody.
Do you want me to, oh, don't say it yet, right?
Are we ready, everybody? Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
9, 6, 8.
Well, and that's a great, that's a great segue into our finds.
Thank you for having me. I mean,
Come back anytime.
yes, yes.
Come if you just want to have breakfast.
Oh, there you go.
We'd love to have you.
I know, I was gonna fly on out here. This is, I gotta get my car done. It used to be go and jump, but I feel back here. I'll give you a few of them and you can.
He'll pass them around.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
not me. Yeah.
Great.
I'll let y'all get on with your great work.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, I will, yeah. I'm all prepped on the other end, so.
Bye.
Bye.
You want me, Sal?
Yes, you're on, sergeant at arms.
Okay.